Hello, this is Real Talk. Great lineup in the studio tonight. CEO of Big Issue, Stephen Robertson, actors Ashley Walters and Amal Amin, and football agent Sky Andrew later. We want your views too, though. This is how you contact us on any of tonight's topics. You can call us 0207 819 6460. You can email us realtalk@otv.co.uk. Send us a tweet at OTV or via our OTV Facebook page. Thank you, all of you who've emailed from Europe and Africa. We really appreciate it. We will get to your comments soon, I promise. Coming up, why do we only see black people taking up roles as gangsters and drug dealers, or always getting killed off in the movies first here in the UK? But first, take a look at these celebrities. We have Halle Berry, Tyler Perry, and David Letterman, Jim Carrey, Sylvester Stallone. What have they all got in common? Well, all of them have been homeless at some time in their lives. And the number sleeping rough is rising. It's risen by 6% in England this year and by 13% in London alone. We're asking tonight, if many in room were no option, would you open your door to someone that was homeless? CEO of Big Issue, Stephen Robertson, joins me, as well as actors Ashley and Amal. Let's start with you, Stephen. Would you open your doors up to somebody who was homeless?
I think you have to think very carefully about that situation. Lots of people already do, but many people will have their friends staying, or sofa surfing as it's known, but a lot of people find ways of getting by. So I think it's important to recognise in the first instance that right now there are a lot of people who've already done that. Whether I would open up my doors to somebody I didn't know, I'd have to think carefully about that.
So why is it such a big issue at the moment? A big issue?
Big issue.
OK, big of applause. All right, well, hold it at once. Go on.
Well done. That's this week's cover. It's fantastic. Why is it a big issue at the moment? It's because we live in really hard times. I think the statistic is something like most people are on average about 3 paychecks away from homelessness. And there's been recent stats that have come out that say 1 in 10 people have at some point or another experienced homelessness. So it's something that's been with us for a while, but the harsh economic environment we're living in, some of the changes that are happening in the benefit system, and just things that happen to people in their lives, all in the end can lead to people hitting the streets.
Ashley, somebody who we wouldn't expect to have any issues with, like, you know, money or whatever, as actors, we've seen you on everything. You're everywhere, you are. You've been homeless.
Yeah, I mean, when I say, I've never slept on the streets. It's never got that far, but there's been times, I've had to sleep on friends' sofas and whatever. I think, most actors will probably say coming up when they first start out, you're scrimping and saving. You're like a student, and until you get that big paycheck that you can support yourself financially properly, you are kind of floating a bit, So I think it happens to a lot of people. But when it comes to me kind of opening my doors to someone else, just like, I'd be quite wary, about doing it. I'm sure most people would, but at the same time, it's good to have a heart, and if you've got the space, you've got the money and whatever, and you can ensure that that person is not going to do anything to you in the middle of the night or steal your stuff, then it's cool. But,
it's funny, isn't it? And, obviously, the Jesus story, the nativity, the doors were opened to Joseph and Mary. They were effectively homeless. Have we lost the sort of Christian spirit to help homeless people, Mel?
I think, alongside Ashley and what was being said before, I think it starts with family and at home. I think there's the people in a position now where, like, my brothers and sisters, youngers, wouldn't be able to get on the property market, wouldn't be able to get their own home. And so I'd always start with family being able to be in. I've got such a big family, so the extension of people living on sofas is something that we'd have to deal with first.
Yeah.
My thing is, where's the community gone, and how the government treating this situation at a larger scale?
Yeah. Well, we'll ask the man, Stephen, what are they doing?
It's getting really tough out there. A lot of funding is being cut at the moment, so projects that are out there actually supporting people who are homeless are finding it harder to get by.
And then let's be honest, Stephen, a lot of people, when you think about the homeless, we've had quite a lot of emails as well, a lot of people tend to think, well, they've got drugs or they've got drink issues and not so much serves them right, but not my problem.
Homelessness is one of those areas, a bit like mental health. It engenders a response or a judgment. And, in the mental health space, it can be, I was depressed once, but I pulled myself together, so why can't you? And I think there are many stereotypes that apply to people who are homeless. And actually, it's inappropriate. So, for example, those guys that shout at you when you walk through the park, that's antisocial behaviour. That's not the homeless.
Do you give to homeless, Ashley?
If I've got change, and I'm in the right frame of mind, the right mood, then I will. I've got issues with that because I'd prefer to take someone, you know, if they're hungry, and take them and buy them food and ensure that they do that rather than give them money knowing that they might go and buy drugs with it or they might buy a drink. But that's not me saying that every homeless person is, you know, a drug addict or an alcoholic. So I think you have to kind of assess the situation on an individual basis, you know what I mean, rather than kind of put everyone in one group. So.
Okay. Well, a group of talented entertainers and singers had a tryout, if you like, at being homeless. The Uprise team here at OTV went out on a 12-hour experience on the streets. Let's take a look at how they got on.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Right. Pete didn't have a room because I said, right.
I got another pound. This pound means the world to me, seriously.
I don't know where you come from, but you're everywhere I go. I don't know why you chose me, but as long as you're here, I don't need to know. So don't go.
The number of homeless people in the UK has risen 3 years in a row.
Stay with me.
This year, we wanted to raise awareness for this pressing social issue by gathering together a group of famous faces to experience a night on the streets of London. Sleeping rough for 12 hours, the Uprise movement braved the winter cold to catch a glimpse of the daily struggles that homeless people face here in the capital. This Christmas, tune into the Uprise Sleep Out campaign.
I need to get back,
Extraordinary experience. We'll get some comment from our guests in just a moment. But Faith Child, the presenter of Uprise, can join me now to tell me what it's like. Hello, Faith Child.
Hello, Trisha. How are you doing there?
I'm very well. How are you doing after your sort of cold night experience?
Wow, I'm doing amazing. It was a very life-changing experience. Very life-changing.
Why was it life-changing?
Because how it was is that for the whole night I became invisible. People that normally stop for me on a regular day had ignored me just because I appeared homeless. And it taught me that a lot of the time we may deny being selfish, but at the same time we're not exactly selfless in that respect.
Right.
So being in their shoes for 12 hours was a very life-changing experience.
And now, when you see a homeless person, what are you going to do? You're going to do what Ashley says and maybe buy them a sandwich, or you're going to give them cash?
What I would do, the best bet, is to try and buy them food. At least that way your mind is at rest as to what they may spend it on. But even if you don't have their money, you can give them your time. As they are ignored a lot of the time, they have nobody to talk to. So that's the best thing you can do. You can't give them money, please do give them your time.
OK, well, Stephen, you're nodding there. They're homeless, the invisible. We don't see them, we don't acknowledge them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that does happen is that people choose to look through someone and pretend they're not there. And one of the interesting things about what these guys did was about this idea of going out and sleeping rough for a night. One of the things that's worth understanding in that space is that a lot of people who are homeless actually don't sleep out at night. They stay awake at night and they sleep during the day because outside it's cold, it's dangerous, it's scary. So actually some of the figures that get reported, they're massively understated because those people will be in shopping centres, they'll be sleeping on buses or whatever during the day, some way of getting by so they stay awake at night and stay alert.
Thank you very much, Faith Child. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
So, would you do it again?
I would most definitely do it again. I would most definitely do it again. And I would implore everyone to try and experience that at least once in their lifetime, just to understand how it is, and so we can be more compassionate and empathetic with the homeless.
Thank you very much, Faith Child. Thanks for joining us. This thing about being invisible, Amal, you know, I suppose black people would argue, you know, definitely when we talk about TV roles later, that's something we're kind of used to being. But in terms of being invisible on the streets, have you walked past people and thought...
No, I've got a bit of a heart for that, to be honest. Like, I think often when people come up to me and they ask for money, and unless I'm in a bad mood or I need to rush somewhere, you want to give whatever change you have, because I feel blessed in my own life to be able to survive and to be able to have home.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people saying, disagreeing that they wouldn't, well, agreeing and disagreeing, that they wouldn't give to beggars or homeless people, as they call it. And there's a lot of you saying, no, I would never allow a homeless person to be in my house. And this whole idea of helping someone who's homeless is still a very antisocial thing to do. Buying the big issue is I mean, how well is that doing? Are people still supporting
Very much
homeless?
so. I mean, what distinguishes the big issue compared to everything else is that it's a business transaction. So people that you see, vendors who are selling the magazine, will have used their own cash to buy the magazine.
And how much is it now?
It costs, at the moment, it's £3 because it's the Christmas bumper issue, but it's normally £2.50, and we are really happy we go 50-50 with the homeless person, so £1.25, and they sell it at double the money. But they don't get their money back. So it requires people to enter into a business relationship with people who are homeless on the streets, and that's a very different concept, because sometimes people think, oh, they've been given the magazines for free, or they're going to get their money back. They're not. They are at work. And so when you see a person who is homeless with a copy of the big issue and a badge with their name and number on it, they are out there working and not begging, and it's a genuine, inspiring alternative to change.
I'm aware of that as well, because I've never bought a big issue. Yeah. I've never felt that is going to help the homeless ever. You know, and so
when
I
you
think
sell one,
you're unaware of that as a normal kind of punter walking around London.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, I don't know. Have you bought the big issue, Ashley?
I think I have once or twice, but solely because, you know.
Do you want to? Yeah, go get the actors. They can afford it now.
I do kind of agree with what Amel said. Like, you know, I've always had this opinion that if I give them the money, that they're not actually getting it in the end. You know what I mean? It's going to someone else. So what do you, it's good to know that. It's good to know.
So what are you going to do, Stephen? Because that's all three of us. I thought that, you know, don't worry, you know, when they're selling, but they're not actually benefiting. How are you going to get this message across?
We are, surprisingly, for a very big brand and about 2,000 or so active big issue vendors throughout the UK, there's less than 100 of us in the organisation. Our marketing budget is zero. So if everybody who's watching this show just tells somebody or tweets about it, that will spread the word, and that's the thing that really counts. When people get it,
people need to know that it's genuine. You know, that's the main thing, because with a lot of charities, I think people are reservations about skeptical. Where does the money go? How does it help?
You literally put your money in the hand of the person who's bought the magazine.
Right,
so in this instance, your £1.50 profit goes.
It'd be good to kind of see, for someone to kind of do a documentary, I don't know, something that shows how homeless people's lives have changed since they've started.
Absolutely.
You know, selling a big issue. People that have found accommodation, that are paying rent now, that are living off it.
Definitely. So I've got a good idea, Stephen. You're CEO of the big issue. You've got two actors, foundation. You've got two actors here. You need to get them filming some trailer for you.
You have to write the script.
Oh,
and then we're on.
Well, listen,
we're too busy for that.
Oh, he's too busy. We went out on the streets to see what you thought about homelessness.
Have to be honest, I wouldn't, but I do contribute to Centrepoint, and I have a business which is a flat share business, and I make a donation every year to Centrepoint.
Yeah, I would, yeah. There's lots of homeless people on the street, and I think especially this time of year, it's cold, it's horrible, and you wouldn't want to be doing it yourself.
Probably not. You know, there's a few of us in the flat and stuff, so it's quite a difficult thing to do, I suppose.
Yeah, if there was enough space in my house and things like that, and they were working towards getting a job and things like that to help them give them the step up, then I would.
I think getting a homeless person to actually live with you is maybe a bit too extensive, but to be able to incorporate them on some level would definitely be the way to go.
I think that the majority of people would just try and help in some other way rather than just literally open their house.
I'd be happy to donate some money to them so they can get to a homeless shelter, but I probably wouldn't invite someone random that I don't know into my home.
There's so many people on the street, and when we have home, why not?
Some people are homeless because they have alcohol problems, drugs problems, mental health problems. Not all of them are, but I personally wouldn't be brave enough to take the chance on someone I don't know coming to live in my home with me.
Where's the heart gone for Christmas? So are we saying, in summary, no one's going to open their home to the homeless? We need to be confident that people like yourselves that are helping the homeless make money, the money's going to them.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll take a break in just a moment, but more to come on Real Talk. Thank you, Steve. I know you're going off now. Have a great Christmas.
Thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me along.
No worries. And like I say, these two need to be in your next trailer tape. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Definitely. We'll get them. They're busy, but we'll get them sorted. Time for a break. But coming up, we're asking, why do we only seem to see black actors and actresses playing gangsters or indeed being killed off in films first here in the UK? We'll ask Ashley and Amal during the break. We'll see more of you in just a few moments. Take care.